T.I.'s son, King Harris, has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected to his actions.
Still trying to coddle him for. Let the man walk off, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
We almost never witness a celebrity story spiral this brutally, not even in the Harris family's long, chaotic history of drama. Tonight, King Harris lies in intensive care, battered, blooded, after what insiders describe as a vicious ambush inside a Georgia prison. Reports say he was left barely conscious, rushed under heavy guard to the infirmary as officers scrambled to contain a full-blown riot erupting in his block. Right now, the Harris family is in crisis mode, phones buzzing non-stop, whispers of desperation, and no clear way forward. And let's be clear, this wasn't some random fight.
Yeah, so him being arrested isn't really like the shocker, it's him coming out and his, I guess, reaction to it, right? Because everybody's saying, King, you grew up privileged, bro. Why are you going down this path? Now he's talking about F the police, F12. So, you know, it just, he...
Sources inside claim it was a calculated setup, a payback move, or maybe even a message that behind those walls, fame doesn't mean safety. The internet wasted no time blowing up, with feeds overflowing with wild speculation, conspiracy theories, and live commentary pointing to beef that had been brewing for weeks. One source close to the Harris circle swore King had already been marked for humiliation. Another tied to prison staff said King was treated like a pariah, resented for his last name, hated for trying to stand on business, and mocked as too soft for prison life. Anonymous voices even claim he'd been warned to lay low, but instead he drew more eyes with his loud attitude and flashy image. Suddenly, the threats became reality, and that's when T.I. went into overdrive. Word is he hasn't slept since the attack, working the phones non-stop, calling lawyers, politicians, even old enemies with pull inside Georgia system. One Atlanta insider says,
I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for Family Hustle. Right. That does come with some, you know, it's some adversity. It's some adversity to come with that. People get in your bed.
Yeah.
I graduated. That's the only good thing they posted of me going viral. I'm not on the media's good side. I don't know why, but...
I don't know why, but he's ready to cut any check, sign any deal, just to get King out before it's too late. Behind closed doors, even the so-called King of the South looks desperate. Meanwhile, Tiny has been moving like a general, coordinating publicists and legal teams as if she's running a war campaign of her own. But insiders say the famous Harris unity is cracking. Friends close to the family claim arguments between T.I. and Tiny have turned explosive. No one's sure if they are fighting to save their son, or fighting each other as the pressure mounts. And the rumors keep getting darker. Whispers suggest this wasn't about petty beef at all, that it may have been tied to a failed contraband deal. Some say King either refused to play along or tried to finesse the wrong clique, and that alone could paint a target in a place where betrayal is always punished in blood. One source insists King was set up, lured into a corner where at least 3 inmates jumped him while cameras mysteriously cut out. The Department of Corrections denies any glitch, but a former road manager for T.I. put it bluntly.
Steve Sadar reached out to me looking to make a deal on behalf of T.I. and Tiny. And I told Steve Sadar that my clients want justice. So if the deal involves Tiny and T.I. turning themselves in and admitting to the crimes that they've committed, then fine, we got a deal. But if it does not, then I would prefer to have the investigators do their work and to bring criminal charges against Tiny and T.I.
This is Georgia. Cameras break when they need to break. And that's not the only stain following King into prison. His family shadow makes him an even bigger target. The trafficking allegations that once rocked T.I. and Tiny still linger in public memory. Sabrina Peterson, the ex-friend who lit that fire, threatened to drop receipts that would allegedly drag King into the mess, too. The feds never pressed charges, but in the court of public opinion, that stain never faded. Add whispers of a secret ledger, broken promises, and accusations of snitching, and suddenly King isn't just another inmate, he's a lightning rod for grudges and scores waiting to be settled. The label won't comment, but sources inside prison life are blunt. The price for crossing the wrong people is always paid in blood. Meanwhile, the family drama is boiling over. Insiders describe T.I. and Tiny's relationship as a powder keg. Tiny pushes for a softer approach. T.I. pushes harder, convinced only force, power, and connections can save their son. One insider swore this is the ugliest storm the couple has ever faced, worse than the TV show cancellation, worse than the lawsuits, even worse than that viral Falcons game headlock incident. Fans still remember that moment. T.I. snapping, yanking King into a headlock on Instagram Live, shouting, "You are embarrassing yourself and your family." At the time, it looked like a low point. But now, with King in a hospital bed and family secrets all over the internet, it feels like a warning sign of the disaster that followed. Inside those walls, the danger is more than physical, it's psychological. In prison, every stare, every rumor, every whispered word can break you down. King walked in already with a target on his back. Some inmates saw the private schools, the reality shows, the luxury lifestyle, and felt pure resentment. Others mocked his attempts to act tough, knowing his life never looked like the streets he rapped about. That tension isn't new. It's part of a wider pattern with high-profile inmates. Fame becomes a weapon against you, a liability others use for clout. We've seen the cycle with rappers, athletes, even actors behind bars. Walk in with privilege and you're not holding protection, you're holding bait. King tried to outrun that privilege, building a persona separate from his family's wealth. In interviews and songs, he swore he hustled, struggled, and learned the codes on his own. "I stand on business," he declared again and again. But credibility isn't inherited. And the ones who try too hard are usually the first to get tested. And when they fall hard. Friends say that even before prison, King lived on edge, loud and wild one moment, then showing flashes of vulnerability the next. Every day, it was like he was trying to prove himself against an invisible test. That tightrope finally snapped under the weight of prison politics. Now administrators scramble to move him for safety, not just to protect King, but to stop others from leveraging his fame. Meanwhile, outside, T.I. wages a frantic battle for early release. But the public is divided. Supporters flood comments with prayers, while critics call it poetic justice, a silver spoon kid paying the price for wearing a mask that never really fit. And that's the twisted parable here. Every new headline blurs the line between victim and architect. Was King shoved into this storm by a family legacy too heavy to carry? Or did he run into it headfirst, convinced fame would shield him? Behind the scenes, lawyers grind overtime. Relatives fight over the next move. And every new leak only makes things worse. The Harris kids are dragged into the mess, forced to face rumors about paternity and old family beefs. The line between private heartbreak and public scandal is gone. At the end of the day, no amount of money or PR can change the truth. Inside prison, the only currency is power.
So the dynamics here are interesting, but I can't judge how the parenting is gone, because everything that we've seen has been stuff that many of us would have said or similar if we saw our children do this. But I will say this, a lot of what's happening is because it's in the public. Like most children don't have to do this.
What started as a scuffle has spiraled into a fight for survival, not just for King, but for the Harris legacy itself. And here's the kicker, the most shocking details of that ambush still haven't surfaced. Rumors of secret deals, rivalries, and betrayals run deeper than what's been revealed. When they finally come out, the fallout could shake the Harris brand to its core. So now, we wait. Is this the start of King's redemption story, or the unraveling of an entire dynasty? Let us know what you think in the comments. Is King just another casualty of family fame? Or is there something even deeper fueling this chaos? Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Start Channel, because with the Harris family, the next twist is never far.